Hello, this is wmpyr back again with the Lapu Lapu Corto knife. This is the drone, the training knife, and I'm pretty sure that you guys understand that this knife is designed to be used in the closed position. And you know, a lot of other folding knives can be used in the closed position. However, this one, that's what it specializes in. So I know that a lot of you guys understand that, but when it comes to the techniques, you might feel that, well, you're using some fancy martial arts technique that's extremely complex. Some of you may feel that way, so I'm here to show you that it doesn't have to be fancy. Sure, it could be as complex as you want, but there's some very simple stuff that's not difficult to understand. So I want to share with you some of my techniques. Okay, so the first thing is I can be right here in between his arms, okay? Or I could be on the outside, right? So that's not difficult to understand, but let's say I'm on the inside between the arms. I'm just going to wrap my arm around to control this arm. Why? Because this arm may have a knife on there. So if that's the case, especially, I want to control it, okay? Can he still stab me? Can he still cut me from here? Sure, he still can. But if I control it, less so, okay? So from this position right here, I mean, this is a grappling position. As you can see, this actually happens. This is a real life, realistic type position. So I'm just going to control his arm right here by wrapping my arm around it. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the top part of the ramp, this area. This, in fact, it could be from all the way here, all the way back here, this whole area up here. And I'm going to ram that right into his neck, okay? Right in this area right here. So this arm is controlling, my left arm is controlling by wrapping around his right arm, and then I secure it on my right hand right here, just to secure it like this. I just place my hand on top, and then this hand, I ram that whole area right into his neck, okay? So essentially, this is like a martial arts version of the choke slam. So because it's a self-defense version of the choke slam, I control the arm instead of just, you know, toss the arm across my shoulder and then lift the guy up, which requires a lot of strength, right? So, but instead, this is giving me a whole ton of leverage, right? Because I'm using the LLC right there on his neck, and I'm pushing him like so. So that isolates his arm right here. So his right arm is being isolated as I push him away. That makes it harder for him to punch me in the face with the other arm. Okay, so I'm making him off balance. If I make him off balance, once again, much less likely for him to hurt me, to launch a good offense towards me. So that's the main idea here. Control this arm, secure it onto my arm with this, and then this goes right in, and it's, like I said, this whole area right here, it's a nice, it's almost like a U shape. So it really is like a choke slam right there. Boom, right into his neck, pushing him away like this. Now, at this point, he's off balance. You could pin him up against the wall, but unless you're like a bouncer, I don't recommend that. But you know what? If that works, it may work. So you could pin him up against the wall and then run away. Or pin him up against the wall until police arrive or help arrives, right? But if you're a smaller person, that may be difficult. That's why bouncers are big and they pin people against the wall. I would recommend more like a chair or a table. You basically ram them through that and then watch them stumble and fall. You have to let them go, and then as they fall down, you're out of there. That's what I recommend, because it's easier than trying to actually do some kind of takedown or throw, because then you have to be skilled, and it does require technique. So in that case, I would rather just let the chair or the desk do the job and let them stumble over it, and as they're catching themselves, you're already gone, right? So anyway, at this point right here, I'm doing this. I got his arm controlled, and boom, ramming this into his neck. He's not going to like it, obviously. So this hand's going to come in, and he's going to try to brush it away, which he probably will, and if he does, boom, I come right back in. It doesn't change anything, right? And if he does it again, you know, you might do that a couple of times. He's going to get smart, and he's going to grab your wrist, right? And at that point, when he grabs the wrist, and that's where people will say, and self-defense techniques, they show a ton of anti-wrist grabs. In fact, that's probably the first thing that you're going to start off with when you join a martial arts school and learning self-defense, anti-wrist grabs. And you're going, nobody does that. Well, in this situation, I created a situation where he wants to grab my wrist because I'm repeatedly doing this. So at this point, he's like, dude, I need to control this arm. It's really bothering me. So he grabs my wrist. If I can grab this arm that he's grabbing my hand with, even better. If I can't, it's okay. But if I can grab it, that's just going to be better for me. But the idea is right here. Let's say this arm is the same configuration here. The thumb would be over here. And he grabs onto my hand like this. Okay, so he's annoyed. So he just, boom, he grabs. And at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my hand over. Okay, and I'm putting the LLC right on the top of the wrist right here. And I want this, not the flat side, but I want right here, right on the bone. Okay, so right here, he's grabbing my wrist. I'm going to bring this around. And if I'm on the flat side, then all I have to do is change the angle to where I'm right on the bone side. Okay, not on the flat side of the arm, of the forearm, but right on the bone of the wrist. And I could just go back and forth. I could just drag, and drag. And there's some fine teeth on here. I'm going to get some DNA samples right there. And I can cause a lot of pain, a lot of leverage. And there's stuff, all kinds of stuff that I could do at this point. Even before that, there's lots of techniques from there. But I think the easiest one is to just go like this. Okay. And now I dig this into his hand right here. Now this still may not be enough, and he may, by this point, really, really hate this hand that has this weapon. He might be really annoyed by it, so he's really trying to get rid of this, trying to do something about it, right? So at that point, I don't want to play a strength game, see who's stronger and stuff. So I could just bring this arm over here to get this arm safe. And as I did that, I just brought this arm that was securing his right arm. I'm just going to slide it right here. And this arm's over here, and this sets me up for one of my favorite techniques, which is a standing Kimura lock, like this. So I went from here, and I brought this arm over like this, and then boom, to the wrist, and there we go. We got the standing Kimura lock. And if you don't know this technique, or if you don't think it's going to be effective or anything, just watch Sakuraba versus Renzo Gracie. Just look that up and see the finish of the match, and you'll see how effective, how brutal this move is. It's a standing Kimura lock. You might end up on the ground. In that match, they did end up on the ground to complete the move. But it is an awesome move, and it's like one where I was like, I have to add this to my arsenal. So anyway, that's it for now. Hope it made sense to you. Thank you for watching, and take care, folks.